What is in that box?
In this box, which is a very big box for a boat, is a brand new sink and dishwasher.
Dishwasher?
Dishwasher. You don't have to hand wash dishes anymore.
Yay!
So we are measuring twice, 3 times, because we have a very finite place for this to fit, and every millimeter counts.
In 2019, we sold everything to realize our dream of living, working, and cruising full-time on our boat. I'm John, this is Carlin, and this is our home, the Elli-Yacht.
So the first thing, we have to detach the garbage disposal. We have been blessed to have a garbage disposal. Pretty sure we'll be able to reinstall that. Faucet, old faucet is going out, and we will get a new one as well. We'll have a brand new sink and dishwasher in the galley.
Very cool. All right, so what are you doing now?
The next step is to cut this all out. I'm not doing this, by the way. Cut this all out and get ready to put the new one in.
Uh-huh. Any issues so far?
So far, so good.
Challenge number 1 so far. They don't have any shutoffs for the water underneath the sink for the faucet. So we're having to throw a couple of those on so we can actually shut the water off and not have to shut off the water on the whole boat, and we can still live on it. After measuring, like Carlin said, because we want to, well, cut once and, be done, is that this header plate that has our garbage disposal switch on it, it's going to be in the way when the sink drops down. So I measured everything to death on all the sides and the back to make sure we had room for all this, but I missed this part, and this is going to hit. So this has to go too. The next challenge is these sinks, these undermount sinks, the way that they do them in a house is they cut the hole open, and then they put the sink underneath, and they bolt the sink to the underlayment. Easy. All we would have to do is unbolt that sink, it would drop out, and then we could cut our hole. But this is a boat. So the way they did it is they laid down all of the plywood, and then they put the sink on top of it, and then they put the counters, so the whole thing is sandwiched together, which is going to suck. Because that means we're going to have to cut this sink because we're not going to be able to pull it away from underneath between the underlayment and the counter. Boat builders, they're a different breed. All right, let's get to it.
If you don't get a sink back in here, you'll have a big garbage.
I think once we cut this,
I agree.
And you can bend it. But the problem is, to your point,
Well, this is going to come off here, so it's just going to.
Right?
I think it'll pop right out.
All right, you ready to Craigslist this sink?
Craigslist, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is going to want it.
Slightly used.
Yeah.
Sweet.
That's satisfying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it still, are we still connected?
Oh, the plumbing is, yeah.
It was definitely time to recaulk it, if not this.
Yeah, it was kind of surprisingly loose there. Tailpipe too, I think. Just do it the easy way.
I got it jammed up on the counter now, so
Yeah.
that you get some leverage.
All right, there you go. It's all yours. Yes.
There it is. Out with the old, in with the new.
So far, it's just out with the old.
I'll grab it through that hole in the sink. Okay, got room here. Damn. Okay.
So put my fingers out of there.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Can you get the
Is that a soft close?
lambrequin? Soft close. Well, oh yeah, is it like a toilet bowl?
Oh.
Oh, look at
very
that.
cool.
Alright, I'll give it that.
Especially on a boat.
And just like that, it's in.
Yay.
If you're buying that, well, anyhow, it was obviously a good deal of work to get this in. Really, once we got the hole cut, it was really just about running plumbing. We opted to keep the garbage disposal.
Thank goodness.
Some people don't use those. We use them because scraps. Some people just throw them overboard. We like to kind of cut it up a little bit. It's easier for the fish to eat it. So we did that. There's tons of clearance underneath the main dishwasher side, and we'll open it up and show you that. It has an automatic electric opener, but all that really does is open the lid. It doesn't open it all the way. So there are people that have been confused with that, so we've read in reviews. Once you flip this open, it actually has some pretty good depth to it. It is able to fit 10-inch plates without a fuss. I was a little worried that we weren't going to have enough space for dishes in this, and actually that worked great.
It's the max.
Yeah, they have guides in here which direction to put the plates, and it does actually a really good job of cleaning the dishes.
Mm-hmm.
Now it doesn't do it quietly.
No.
Uh-uh.
It's not super quiet.
No. But that's okay. The whole idea of getting the dishwasher is instead of spending time washing dishes, we can be out on the dinghy or, hiking or enjoying the different areas that we're cruising to.
Yeah.
And so that's the trade-off with the dishwasher. What are some other items?
How many volts?
Oh, this is a 120 volt single phase, so you can just plug it into an outlet. We already had an outlet here, so that worked out just fine. It has a nice spot for the switch for the garbage disposal right there, and we opted to get one of these faucets that does sprayer as well as direct.
It's nice.
Yeah. I was a little worried that we were going to give up the two sink areas kind of for the drying. We have kept our rack, especially for the large pots and pans, but
Right.
pretty much even at home, you generally have to have something for that size
Yeah.
of pots and pans. But all in all, it works pretty well. You probably have noticed one thing. I do have a little catch here on the window with the suction cup because when we measured this, all the dimensions said that the lid needed to be up at a 90-degree angle and it would hold itself, and that's not the case. It actually has to lean back a little bit.
Yep.
So this wants to fall forward. So we'll probably end up cutting a little bit further forward on this ultimately to move the whole sink forward. But I'd say that's probably one thing that was an aha moment and not a good aha moment. It was like an ah shit moment. But we'll cut it forward, and then we'll put a spacer plate back here.
Yeah.
The reason that we also placed it where it was because the earlier sink actually had a larger basin on
This side.
Carlin's side, and there was a bit of a hole back there, so that kind of forced us to move that back there. But we'll just put a filler piece back here with stainless and have something like that made. But otherwise, I'm pretty impressed with what we have.
Works great.
We'll put down in the description the model number and all the different pieces. It has all the measurements if you're considering something like this.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this fit perfectly. We had about 1/4 of an inch on both sides because there's supports underneath this counter, and so it was really
It's a tight fit.
it was a tight fit, and there was a lot of measuring that went into it to make sure that it was going to work. But all in all, I'm pretty pleased. The last thing I will call out is this Fotile brand isn't exactly something that everybody's heard of. They're super popular for rentals. A lot of people are putting them in rentals that have less space because then you can have a sink and a dishwasher, and I think it's easier to rent a place if it has a dishwasher. But they're also showing up in RVs as well as in boats. I think Gone with the Winds, they have a Fotile dishwasher. It doesn't have the sink, it's just the dishwasher they put in there, so that was a big debate between the two of them. Less of a debate for us on the Elli-Yacht.
Yeah.
I think it's been a good ad for us. But the reason I bring up the brand piece is warranty, or if it breaks, is this something that we just cut a big hole in our counter and we can't get it fixed?
Right.
They do have an international footprint for repairs, and I've seen reviews on the repairs. Parts are readily available. It is a fairly common appliance right now, even though it is something that is newer on the market that most of us, including myself until lately, weren't super familiar with. Would we do it again?
Yes.
All right. And that's always a good answer, because we've done other projects that we get finished with, and if we had to do them again, we would not. So at the end of this, we're pretty pleased.
Yep.
And I can't think of anything else we can really do to this darn boat.
Oh, you are always coming up with something.
All right, well, I'll take that as a challenge. Don't forget to subscribe. I hope this was useful to you, and put any questions down below if you it can help you out in any way. All right, take care. Peace.